Hello. So I am going to talk you through the final essay writing part for Lord of the Flies. Um, so we have finished the book through chapter 12. Um, and so now we are going to think about, okay, what's the author's point? What does the author put into this? So you're going to be coming up with things that you see from the author's perspective, what he's put in here. You're not saying if you agree or disagree. You're not really giving a review of whether you liked it or not. Okay, this is different. This is a literary analysis essay. So you are taking what you read and you are analyzing what does the author mean by putting this stuff in here. So I have two prompts for you to look at. So we have, so we have the topic of leadership. How do I beep? Okay, so we have the topic of leadership. Lots of leadership, right? Lots of tension about leadership, what makes a good leader, all that stuff. So anyway, so the topic of leadership. Throughout this novel, William Golding is telling his readers about leadership in a society. He uses many characters and situations on the island where leadership and rules become very important. So what you are going to be analyzing is this bolded part. What do you think that William Golding believes about leadership among humanity? Why do certain people become leaders instead of others? Why do you believe this about Lord of the Flies? And again, you have to find 3 examples of leadership from the novel and 3 specific quotes from the novel that go along with your point and your example. So leadership, yeah, you've got Ralph, you've got Jack, you've got lots of options. Like you've got kind of major leaders, and then you have kind of side people who support leaders. Who do people most respond to? All that stuff. So then we have our second topic, which is the topic of good and evil. So William Golding named his novel Lord of the Flies for a reason. He also writes about conflict between good and evil and human nature. I mean, we talked about how Lord of the Flies is translated from Beelzebub. Beelzebub is the devil. So he almost literally named his novel Devil or the Satan book, right? So we know that good and evil has a major part to play in these characters and in what happens. So here's the prompt of that. What is William Golding, so that's the author, what is his message to a reader about humans being good or evil? What makes different characters good? What makes others evil? How can you see the author telling his readers this? So again, not saying if you agree or disagree, just laying out the facts, right? He put this happening with these characters in the story to show this about good and evil, or to get us to get the reader to think about this about good and evil. So same as the first one, use at least 3 examples of good and evil from the novel and 3 specific quotes from the novel. So you're going to be setting up a thesis statement, and this is where your essay organizer comes in. So again, just the outline, right? We have our topic, so you'll write either you'll write leadership or you'll write good and evil here. And then your analysis. What is your answer to the question? So this is what you will turn into our thesis statement, right? So if we're doing leadership, for example, then we would come up with 3 things. William Golding is showing the reader sorry, I got a text and it totally threw me off. William Golding is showing the leader that leaders are this and leaders are this, and sometimes leaders can be this, or that people follow leaders who are like this. This is what goes into a good leader. This is what goes into a bad leader. So you're setting up 3 points, coming up with 3 ideas from the book. So that's going to be your list, right, of your thesis statement. And then you say, okay, well, my first thing is this, and then here's the example. And then you're going to pick specific things from the book that happened, and then you're going to pick a quote also, and then you have to kind of explain it. So if you're talking about, how humans follow people that give them stuff, then you would say, well, all the boys ended up wanting to follow Jack because he was actually giving them something. He was giving them meat, whereas Ralph wasn't actually giving them anything. He was providing more of like a general thing for them, but it wasn't something they could specifically have at any given time. So that's why maybe they went to Jack. So that would be your example. And then you'd pick a quote from that, right? Like a time where Jack's saying, well, I give you meat or whatever. So that's what you would kind of just write your notes out here. Like, so then it would just be first idea, people follow leaders who give them stuff. One example, Jack gives meat, Ralph gives nothing. And then how does that support it? So then you explain. Then you switch to your second point. Uh-oh. Oh, this video is amusing. Lots of distractions. So then you'd have 3. I have space for you to put 4, but that'll be your 3. So that's this document. And again, it'll be MLA format, so we'll set that up. We're going to work on it a little bit on Thursday in class. Then the other document that I have, and I will be emailing this to you also. So we have our writing prompt but with our writing expectations. So just a refresher, right? Since it's not a book review, this has nothing to do with you, what you agree or disagree with. This is like a totally third person report, right? But you're not doing like a book report. You're doing an analysis. So writing expectations, right? Do not use you, your, don't say I believe, my opinion. We don't need to do that. Thesis statement, make sure it matches the prompt and what the prompt is asking. Make sure it's answering the question. Specific pronouns, this book has all boys. So it would be really hard to understand when we're like, he took the conch and gave it to him. Then he walked over and sat by them and he was upset. Lots of he's, lots of hims, who's them, who's they. So make sure you're being specific. Otherwise it gets really confusing. Even in your mind, you can picture what's happening. You have to be specific. And then the introduction conclusion, kind of the same as what we did before when we wrote mirror images, similar stuff in the beginning and in the end. So, and then there's kind of your points breakdown. So that's what we're working on right now. Organizers due by the end of the week, and then to start writing a rough draft to be done by Monday, and then to have the final draft due Tuesday. It's kind of a quick turnaround as far as not having a lot of class time, because we're going to spend class time reviewing too. Those of you that are in class, but it's kind of a quick turnaround. So you want to have that rough draft turned in by Monday morning. So that's why the essay organizer should be due by Friday morning. So you have kind of some time to get some feedback on it. Okay, so I think that's it for these. If you have questions, just let me know.